मंगलमय मंगल करण वीतराग विज्ञान नमो ताहि जाते भये अरिहंतादि महान करि मंगल करि हो महा ग्रंथ करन को काज जाते मिले समाज सब पावे निज पद राज। So, whom I should make a co-host? Subha, shall I make you a co-host? You'll be
Uh,
able to share
no,
the
Jay,
textbook.
I cannot share the textbook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, who can share? Jinali?
Sir, I'll try, sir.
Okay, I'm making you co-host. Yeah, I'll co-host now. Let's try if it's possible.
Yeah. श्लोका के लिए हेल्प करना हम लाइव तो he's made me co-host करो वो शेयर करे जी.
Okay. So, we were discussing exposition of false religion and denial of faith in it. Okay. So, this is what. Yeah. So we were on to this discussion on
Which
we are
page we are in, sir?
266.
Okay, I was not there for the past two classes.
266.
Okay.
So there are the three main characteristics. Three main characteristics of a religion which is not true. That means false religion, which is a false religion. First one is it involves violence. Okay. So any act which involves violence could not be a true religion. Like, indulging in the activities of oblation. Oblation, yag. So there the fires are light up and all those causes great injury, great violence. Okay. So first point is that if it involves violence, then it is not a true religion. The second was if it cause increase in carnal desires. That means increase in sensual pleasures. Then again, it is not a true religion. And the third point is if it is a cause for increase in passion, okay, then again it is not a true religion but a false religion. So yesterday we discussed a lot of things about false religion. People have different kinds of belief in religion. So are you able to share, Jinali? Unmute yourself.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. I'm trying.
Okay, okay. I thought you are
No.
having some problem. No problem. Okay. So yesterday we discussed a lot of things that people have different kinds of belief to be a true religion, whether in reality it is not a true religion. Like giving donations for Sankranti and all. So Sankranti is not a religious festival. Then giving donation for eclipse. Eclipse means, Surya eclipse, sun eclipse and moon eclipse, all those Surya Grahana and that all. Those are also not religious things.
So please.
And giving donation for the purpose of the planets of bad omen. Okay. Ketu Graha, Rahu Graha, and all these are all not true religion. Okay. True religion is passionlessness, detachment. Okay. That is true religion. And now the discussion was going on about the donation, uh, how we should donate, and what would be what donation should qualify as a true religion. Okay. So those person who are greedy and who are engaging in sinful activity, if you give donation to them, then you would bind inauspicious karma. Okay. So it is the responsibility of the donor to find appropriate donee. Okay. So uh, there there was a reference from Rayan Sar Shastra 266, page number 266. You are in still on 18. Okay. So the meaning of that verse from Rayan Sar Shastra, verse number 26, says that giving charity, charity means donation, to pious persons. Pious persons is a pure person, is like the splendor of the fruits of Kalpa Vriksha. Okay. Splendor means Shobha. Okay. And Kalpa Vriksh. Kalpa Vriksh means the trees yielding anything desired. So if you have a Kalpa Vriksh, you desire and you get those things immediately. Okay. So giving charity to pious person, it is very difficult to find pious person, you know. And if you find one, you should donate to him only. And those are like kalpavriksha, the trees yielding anything desired. That means whatever donation you give, it will be very fruitful, and you will get in return whatever you have desired to get ahead in the path of liberation. Okay. This act is splendorous as well as pleasure giving, and the charity given to greedy persons is like decorating the bier of a dead body. What is bier, you know? It's a corpse carrier, you know, where you keep the corpse in that coffin. That carrier is called bier, okay, of a dead body. So there is no point in decorating a dead body because it's already dead. You have to burn it. So what is the point in decorating that body? Okay. Though splendor results, yet it causes extreme distress to the owner and their relative. Okay. Hence, there is no religion in giving charity to the greedy persons. Okay. So those who are greedy, they should not be given donation, because those greedy persons will cheat many through false tactics. Okay. And they will do nothing good for of those persons. Moreover, such things should only be given in charity which foster religion, okay, which advocates religion in the donee, okay. But the donation of gold, elephant, etc. creates injury. Injury here means violence, okay, and increases pride, greed, all kinds of passions, which results in great sin. How could virtue be caused to the donor of such things? Okay. So when you are uh, indulging in such things which results in great sin, then you bind inauspicious karma and not the auspicious karma. Moreover, the passionate persons claim that there is virtue in providing the objects of sexual pleasure. Okay. But how could virtue be claimed in the acts of unchastity? Okay. Which are sinful. So unchastity is a sinful, kushil is a sinful, and how if you are providing the objects of this sensual pleasures could be an act of virtue. It is an act, clear cut, an act of sin. And they put up false logic by saying that this gives satisfaction to a lady. Okay, so these kinds of story they made. And recently Ram Rahim and the other one Asharam Bapu, both are in jail since 8-10 years. They have been convicted because they used to give such false logic to their devotees, and then they used to get indulge in sexual relations with them. Okay, so they are now presently in jail, and they have been jail in 10 years. And as far as Asharam Bapu is concerned, he has around 50,000 centers throughout the India. Now just imagine, people believe him so much, and because of his such sinful activity, not only he is being criticized, but the religion is being criticized. So this kind of activity gives a uh, gives a false impression to the seekers, then they feel that all the people are like that only.
Sir,
Hmm.
am I able to share? I don't know. I have already shared.
Yeah, you have
Screen, but
shared.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
increase the size of the, uh,
Uh,
yeah,
this way, that's fine.
yeah, but now it is, yeah, this is fine. It is a full screen. I don't think this is a full screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ठीक है. Okay. So everyone should take a printout, and should read from there. And if you want to write something on that printout, you can write also, because while now you are studying, but while when you appear for exam, you forget what was the important in this, what is the meaning of this. So it is always nice if you are doing markings in the textbook itself, so that you can recall when you are reading it again. Okay. Uh, And they put up false alleging by saying that this gives satisfaction to a lady. Though a woman gets pleasure by fulfillment of sexual desire, why is then the observance of chastity preached? Okay. So nowhere in the religion these kinds of things are being preached. But because they have vested interest, they want to indulge in such wrongful activity. They say that if you do this, this will happen, all wrong things. And people are very innocent. They don't analyze so much, and they fall prey to it. And every other day you read in the newspaper that tantric did this and that and raped and this that. So generally speaking, women are falling prey to this kind of uh, wrongful activity of so-called uh, people, you know even after sexual pleasure, if her other desires are not fulfilled, then she feels distressed. Okay. So it is not that through this if he is able to enjoy. Okay. So at that same time, some other desire crop up. So then she feels distressed, because desires does not get filled according to our wish. Okay. So there is no point in having any kinds of desire. Accept what is happening in your life and enjoy. Okay. Therefore, such false logic is fabricated only for gratifying the carnal desires. Okay. Sensual pleasures only. Similarly, believing religion in the activities other than compassion and donation to worthy recipients. So donation to worthy recipients is very good. Okay. It is called Patra Dan. So you should see who is eligible for donation and you should give to him. And again, donation through compassion is again accepted. But donation in the name of religion to these people is not accepted. It is all false religion. Okay. Moreover, by observing the vows, etc., they foster injury. Injury here means violence and objects of sensual pleasures. Okay, so they are doing religious activity, observing wars for the purpose they want to foster violence and objects of sensual pleasures. Okay, they want to promote these two, but the wars etc. are above observed for decreasing them and not fostering them. So this is completely opposite. How can that religion be true? And people forsake eating food grains and instead eat the tuber roots. Tuber roots means kandmul, uh, potato, onion, and all. Okay, so they forsake eating grains which are quite uh, eatable. Instead of that, they eat tuber roots which are uneatable in the first place. So instead of decreasing the violence and sensual pleasures, they are doing religion to increase them. So, how can that be a true religion? In such acts, greater violence is caused and relishment of sensual objects increases. Okay. Further, such people do not take meal in the daytime and instead take food in the night. So, in this act of taking meals in the night, instead of taking food in the day, greater violence is caused and recklessness increases. Okay. So, such people, okay, do not take meal in the daytime and instead take food in the night. So, food should not be consumed in the night because it involves great violence. Okay. So, they don't eat in the daytime and eat in the night. So, that is again a false religion. So, in this act of taking meals in the night instead of taking food in the day, greater violence is caused and recklessness increases. What is this recklessness? Negligence, procrastination, pramad. And by observing the woes, fast, etc., people indulge in excessive adornment of the body. Okay, adornment of the body means decorating the body, sringar and all. Sportive acts means curiosity. Okay, they indulge in excessive adornment of the body, like they beautify, they put all good dresses and then makeup and all, you know, and they it also indulges in curiosity, then they play gambling and all these are sinful act, but they desire that the fruit of observing woes should be obtained in the form of attainment of worldly agreeable objects and destruction of disagreeable objects, but all this results in increasing passions. Okay, so this is again not a true religion. Thus, believing religion to consist in the observance of vows in the above said manner is false religion. Now, the next point. Further, many people increase violence, etc., scenes through adoration. Adoration here means bhakti, okay, prayers. They foster the objects of senses by way of songs, dancing, singing, and taking the desired food. Yesterday we discussed about Ganpati and Garba and all. So all these are false religion and other articles. You may ask me question that there are so many Panchkalanak going on, and in those Panchkalanak, in Panchkalanak, in the in our tradition also, people indulge in dancing and all these activities. So partly it is true that that should not be the way to celebrate Panch Kalyanak, okay, Pratishtha Mahotsav, but because the trend has become such that they want to attract the youngsters, because the matured one will not go because they know that there is very little in terms of acquiring knowledge from there. On the contrary, if they do swadhyay at home, they will be more uh, benefited. Okay, so mostly those who are very deep in studies, they don't go for panchkarnaks. Only the new people who never go to the temple, but because of this dancing and other activities, and they also wear nice dresses, and they become Indra and they become king and all. So those people, uh, they are able to connect to the religion through this Panch Kranak, and for them it is okay. But those who are into deep studies, for them it is not okay. But this is how it is shaping up, and many people have criticized also, many scholars have criticized, but still they want to gather money from it, and so they get into this kind of activities to attract the young generation. Okay. They indulge in sportive acts and pass time recklessly, negligence. In such acts, they create lot of sin, but do not have even a little recourse to religion, and yet believe it to be religion. So all this is false religion. And many people produce affliction to the body. Affliction means anguish, painful, distress, all this means same. In Hindi it is called klesh. And many people produce affliction to the body. Body को क्लेश करते हैं. And indulge in injury and passional acts. Indulge in violence and passional acts. For example, they observe penance by heating their body in 5 types of fires. Panchagni. Where you read Panchagni, do you remember? In Vitrag Vigyan, I think there was a story of Parsvanath, and in that there was discussion about Panchagni Tap. You know, uh, his his grand Parsvanath was a kid, and his grandfather was uh, involved in that kind of Panchagni Tap penance. Okay, so. mm So they observe penance by heating their body in 5 types of fires, fire from ghee, then fire from tail and other things. So there are 5 kinds of fire. So they heat their body. In this process, small and big living beings get burned by fire. Fire itself is a one-sensed being, you know. So when you light fire, you are definitely causing violence. Okay. And to do it for the sake of religion, again, it's a big fallacy. In this process, small and big living beings get burnt by fire. Lot of injury is caused. Okay. How is religion possible in such acts? Okay. No religion. And some persons swing by keeping their body turned upside down on their move. So mouth is at the bottom and legs are in the upper side. So that is called keeping the body turned upside down. Some keep the arm raised upwards, Thus, in different ways, they practice the false religion. But anguish or distress or affliction only is caused by such acts. These are not parts of religious practices. So, this is again a false religion. Further, some people control respiration and practice neti, dhoti, etc. yogic exercise. You know niti, where uh, you put water from the nostrils and take it out from the mouth. There is a process to purify the internal system. Neti is used, wherein you have to put the water through the nostrils and it comes out through water, and in between, if there are any dust or any other particle blocking the way, it gets cleared out and you feel fresh. Okay. So these are all part of Ayurvedic and yoga uh, activities. In such acts, lot of injury, violence are caused by consumption of water, okay, etc. If some miracle is produced, then pride and other passions increase in him, okay. Hence, in no way such acts can be called religious acts. Thus, they involve themselves in acts causing distress, okay, but do not bother about reducing indulgence in passional acts. Internally, they possess the intention of anger, pride, deceit, and greed passions. Okay, they uselessly engage themselves in painful acts and believe them to be religious acts. This too is false religion. So you see what kind of misconception people have in them in the name of religion. And this is all going on. Okay. Next. And many people commit suicide because they cannot endure miseries in this world. दुख सहन नहीं होता है. Okay. So they commit suicide. Or desire to get agreeable objects in the next birth. Okay. So many people commit suicide because they cannot endure miseries in this world or desire to get agreeable object in the next birth. So they are so fed up with the present life, they feel that if I end my life, then I will get another birth and there I will get all the good associations. But the soul is the same. On the contrary, you will be in a worse position than what you are right now because you have lost the opportunity of a human life. It is so difficult to get a human life, and now you have got it, and if you do suicide, then you have lost this opportunity. So you will never get a human life again, okay, for a long, long time. So how can it be again a part of religion? Okay. Many kill themselves for earning name, okay, and fame, or under pressure of anger, passion, etc. Nowadays, suicides are very common. In fact, some farmers are committing suicide every now and then. Some students in Kota are committing suicide. They cannot handle the pressure of this competitive exams and all. So the suicide ratio is going up. People are so distressed. People are in depression. Some gets fed up with terminal diseases and they commit suicide. And even those criminals who have been caught and they are in jail, they also try to commit suicide because they don't want to endure miseries. Okay, they are not able to endure miseries. For example, many women burn themselves in the fire on account of bereavement of their husbands and are called sati. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy um, stopped this tradition of sati. In earlier times, it was like that. So this book was written 300 years ago. So at that time, this was the practice that if a husband used to die, his wife would burn in the fire in which his dead body is being burnt. Okay, and he would die. And he used the community used to call it her a sati, and he was respected for that. Okay, so Raja Ram Mohan Roy stopped this. Okay, so these are all some evil practices existing in the community at that point of time. Some people get dissolved in the snow of Himalaya mountain. You see, in the winter they go to the Himalayas and then they meditate and then they get dissolved in the snow and end their life. Some others get sawed, you know, uh, others get sawed in the Kashi, Banaras city. Okay, so Kashi is famous because people there go to offer Shraddh to their ancestors. Okay, so some other gets sawed. Sawed means karot, karont means talwar. Uh, they they kill themselves through that sword. Okay, so that happens in Kashi many a times. Some people die willfully on their own Thus, these acts are believed to be religious acts. But committing suicide is a great sin, because you have lost an opportunity of a human birth, which was very rare in the first place, and you have got it and you are committing suicide. So, it is a great sin. If attachment in body, etc., was lessened, then one should have accepted real penance. Okay. So, if you want to do religion, you indulge in penances. Okay. And that's a true religion. But what part of religion is evolved in dying in the aforesaid manner? Therefore, committing suicide is false religion. Okay. Likewise, there are many facets of false religion. How long to describe? Believing to be religious, all such acts which foster passion and sensuousness is false religion. So we discussed it yesterday only in the first paragraph itself, that any act which involves violence, which increases sensual pleasures and which increases passions, cannot be termed as a true religion, and that is being explained here. Likewise, there are many facets of false religion. How long to describe? Believing to be religious all such acts which foster passions and sensuousness is false religion. Behold, due to bad times in the Jina's religion, also the practice of false religion has started. I just now said no about the Panch Clinic and all. So some of the things could be avoided, but again, it is not being done. Whatever religious festivals are described, in all those festivals, it is desirable to observe continence by giving up passional acts. Okay, but they do not adopt this practice. Even 300 years ago, this was the norm. So Todemalji has written this at that point of time. But they do not adopt this practice, and instead, in the name of wars, adorn the body in various ways, take relishing food, tasty food, indulge in sportive acts, kutul, curiosity, and all, and in the acts which increase the passion, and indulge in great sinful acts like gambling, etc. Okay. So, how can that be considered as religion? Never. So these are some of the common mistakes that people are by and large making. Todarmalji had done a very deep studies about other religions also, and find out all these faults, and he is uh, relating to us that you don't fall to such traps. Okay, those are all false religion. Further, in the acts of worshipping, etc., this was the preaching that in the acts producing excessive virtue, if some little sinful acts are involved, then the same are ignorable. So, the true religious activity of such should be of such nature that it produces excessive virtue and little sinful acts. Then it is quite okay, because you are getting more benefit than what you are incurring as a loss. Okay. So, uh, in the acts producing excessive virtue, if some little sinful acts are involved, then the same are ignorable. Under this pretext, in the name of worship and propagation of religion, of Jina's teachings, people burn the lamps in the night, collect the objects containing infinite living beings, such as flowers, vegetables, and indulge in practices involving violence and other sins before the jin's idol. They pay scant respect to virtuous acts like that of worship, invocation, etc. In all these acts, loss is more, profit is less, or even nil. All such acts are clearly irreligious or false religion. Okay. So any activity which gives excessive punya and little bit of sinful act is still okay. But those activities which involve excessive of sinful activities and very little punya is totally forbidden. Moreover, the temple of Jina is abode of religion. In the temple, people engage themselves in various irreligious talks, kukatha, vikatha, okay, unnecessary talks in the temple. Then they sleep, that should not be also avoided, and behave indolently. Behave indolently means uh, means they indulge in negligence. Okay, indolently means pramad. Okay, so uh, they practice procrastination. Okay, so these are not the acts of religion, and they foster passions and sensual pleasures by developing orchard and flower garden, etc., inside temple premises. Okay, so inside temple premises there should not be any orchard or flower garden. Further, they give charity, etc., to the greedy persons. Again, it is not an act of religion. Believing them to be preceptors, gurus, and feel exalted by their false praise. Okay, so this should be again avoided. Thus, in various ways, they increase their passional desires and believe same to be religion. But the emblem of Jina's religion is passionlessness. So anything and everything which fosters passionlessness is true religion, and anything and everything which increases passions, increases sensual pleasures, then increases, what was one more thing? Violence, okay, could not be termed as religion in any manner. Hmm. Entry of such perverse practices in Jaina religion is due to bad times. So we are in now the bad times, fifth era, and deteriorating time. So these things will happen. In this way, the adoration and practicing of false religion is forbidden. Now, the involvement of false belief in such practices is being explained. Why these are happening? Because the belief is false in the first place. Okay. The one basic objective in the right belief of tattvas is to give up passions. So the byproduct or the end product of uh, understanding the seven fundamental elements is to reduce passion. And if it increases on the contrary, then it is never a religion. This very disposition is called religion. If by increasing passional disposition one believes that religion is evolved, then where remains the right belief in tattvas? Because understanding the tattva leads to reduction in passions. Okay, and if it increases, then there it is not the right belief. This is against the Jina's commandment. Passions are sinful disposition. Okay, believing these to be religion is false belief. Therefore, in the practice of false religion, false belief is invariably involved. So, this is Aditi Shah or Jain?
Sir, it is me,
Huh.
but I'm making my daughter sleep, so it's in a dark room. That's why
Oh, okay,
I was
okay.
going to join from YouTube. But
So what happened, she has shared the text, but she's not able to enlarge it. Yeah.
Okay. So give me 2 to 3 minutes. I will just join in from my laptop.
And you always coordinate with Darshit ji. Either you or Darshit ji should be there at the beginning of the class.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I will only be there because he's on a different time zone. So anyway, for him it's
No,
difficult.
no, he is attending class. I don't know
He's
why he's
but
not.
he's trying his best, right? Because it's still evening, no, over there.
What
It's
time is there? How much? Uh,
behind us, no. So if it's 9 o'clock over here, it would not be more than 6 o'clock over there.
oh, okay, okay,
The
okay.
evening also.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's why.
Okay, no problem. Otherwise, you
Give me
trained.
give me
Yeah,
2 to 3 minutes. I'll just go to my room and switch it on and share.
no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, leave it. Today, everyone has textbook with them, so doesn't matter. But if it is there on the screen, then it is better.
Yeah, yeah, it is so much
So
better.
today you leave it. Don't get disturbed. But next time, just make it sure that somebody is attending from the beginning itself. Okay.
Right.
This is against Jina's commandment. Passions are sinful disposition. Believing this to be religion is false belief. Okay. Passions, one which increases passion, one which increases violence, one which increases sensual pleasures cannot be termed as religion. So this is because of all false belief. So when the belief is false, the knowledge is also false and the conduct is also false. Okay. It may not happen that the belief is false and your conduct is okay. No, it cannot be that way. Therefore, in the practice of false religion, false belief is invariably involved. Okay. In this way, know well that the adoration and believing false deity means false god, false preceptor, and false scriptures or false religion results in strengthening false belief. Therefore, this is described here in Ashtapaud, meaning if someone adores false deity, means false god, false religion, and false preceptor, out of, again, three causes, out of shyness, okay, lajja, it's written here in Sanskrit, lajja, bhai, garav. So bhai is fear and the third one is garav, means pride, false prestige. He is assuredly a false believer. Okay. And if he is a false believer, obviously his activities be like that only. Okay. Therefore, those who want to forsake false belief, you want to get rid of delusion, first of all, they should forsake adoring false deity, false preceptor, and false religion. This is the first step. Yesterday also we discussed that Todarmalji had given 4 characteristics of manifesting right belief, and the first one is faith in the true God, true scriptures, and true religion. Second is faith in the 7 fundamental elements. Third is discrimination between self and non-self. And the fourth is believe in self. Okay. So all these 4 characteristics are a prerequisite to manifest right belief. And the first one is about the true God, true scriptures, and true religion. Okay. True preceptor. So this cannot be compromised. That should be there. So those who want to forsake false belief, they should first get rid of this false god, false preceptor, and false religion. And then in the second level, they should get rid regarding errors regarding the understanding of 7 fundamentals. So first one was uh, acquired delusion, getting rid of acquired delusion. And the second one was getting rid of inborn delusion. So both kind of delusion goes away, then you manifest right belief. Very simple. In the abdication of 25 types of faults of right belief, okay, in the abdication 25 types of faults of right belief, under Amud Drashti, okay, Amurdrashti means those who believe in false god, false preceptor and false religion is a Amurdrashti. Okay, this should be avoided. And 6 places of misbelief. Okay, so again there are 8 qualities of a right believer, and one of that quality is that a right believer never believes in false god, false preceptor and false religion. Okay, the renouncement of these false deity etc. only has been preached, hence one must invariably forsake them. So that is the first step. Further, false belief resulting from adoration of false deity etc. means false god, false preceptor and false religion, okay, is a bigger sin than the sins of injury or violence etc. Okay, in its fruitation. So again I read somewhere this word. I told that I Darshit ji mentioned me that you are pronouncing wrong, but I don't know, I have somewhere read it and now I've got the word in its fruitation. Okay, so this is a wrong word itself. I didn't find this word after Darshit ji pointed out my mistake. I checked and I didn't find this word at all. So then I was surprised that how did I got this word, because I have definitely have read this. So here it is a wrong word. It should be in its fruition. Okay. So whatever karma you bind, when they come for fruition, you get the effect. In its fruition, one gets birth in Nigod. So fruition of what? Believing in false god, false preceptor and false religion, you leads ones to birth in Nigod and hell. Nigod and Narak. Okay. Nigod is one sensed being and it's a part of subhuman state, and hell is Narak. Okay, etc. In such birth, intense agonies, sorrow and sorrow and sorrow, misery and misery, and afflictions, pain. What were the other words for afflictions? Anguish, distress. Okay, all these you will suffer, have got to be suffered for infinite period. Long. Minimum age there is 10,000 years. Just imagine. So it is so necessary to understand the right nature of the right gods and right true gods, true preceptor and true religion. Okay, to avoid this. So somebody asked that what is wrong if we even believe in Ganpati and if we believe in Durga Mata and Kali Mata and there are so many Dev Devya, what is wrong in it? This is wrong, that you will end up in Nigod and Narak. Okay, so the awareness should be there where you are bowing your head. Okay, so some scholar used to give an example that if in it was a quite old example. So at that time the pot was available for 2 paise. Okay, so when he goes in the market to buy a earthenware pot of 2 paise, he would check it whether it is leaking or not and something like that. And when the matter comes of religion, he is ready to bow his head to anywhere, a patthar, even in bowing to a stone, bowing to a tree, what not. So that is the kind of belief the people had at that point of time. In such births, intense agonies and afflictions have got to be suffered for infinite period, and attainment of right knowledge becomes extremely difficult. So this attainment of right knowledge becomes extremely difficult if you indulge in false god, false preceptor and false religion. The same is stated in Ashtapahud, meaning one who is engrossed in the practice of false religion, adores the hypocrites and false preceptors, observes false penances. Tap, Penance means tap, observe false penances. So one who is engrossed in the practice of false religion adores the hypocrites, double standard people, and false preceptors, false gurus, observes the false penances. He has to suffer from the miseries of evil state of existence that we discussed just now, Nigod and hell. Okay. So, O Bhavyas, by adoring the false deities, even with the slightest greed, false deities, etc., means false god, false preceptor, and false religion. Even with the slightest greed and fear, one has to suffer from intense agonies for infinite period. Therefore, false belief is in no way worth harnessing. Okay? Worth fostering. No way worth fostering. In Jina's religion, it is an eternal tradition that first of all, the bigger sin is advised to be forsaken before a smaller sin. But a false believer would always try to forsake the small sin first, and bigger sin still keeps on going on. Okay. But a true believer, a person who understands properly, he understands this difference, and he first gets off, he first renounces the bigger sinful activities in his life and then the smaller ones. Therefore, believing the false belief to be a greater sin than indulgence in 7 vices, evil habits, it is to be forsaken first of all. Okay. So delusion is considered to be the greatest sin. You know, it is the father of all sins, delusion. So first we should get rid of delusion. And how we can get rid of delusion? By getting the right belief. Okay. So once the right belief is there, the delusion goes away. And then, of course, the other passions will gradually go away. So this false belief is a greater sin than indulgence in 7 vices. Okay. So it is to be forsaken first of all. Therefore, those who are afraid of the fruits of sinful acts and do not desire to sink their soul in the ocean of agony should invariably give up false belief. Okay. Therefore, those who are afraid of the fruits of sinful acts and do not desire to sink their soul in the ocean of agony should invariably give up false belief. It is not desirable. It is not desirable to be of fickle mind due to fear of censor. Censor means ninda, criticism. Okay. It is not desirable to be fickle, to be of fickle mind, weak minded. Okay. Due to fear of ninda or desire of praise. Okay. Because in ethics also the same is stated as follows. If someone criticizes, let him criticize. Someone praises, let him do so. Wealth is obtained or lost, death is instant or comes after long time. In all such contradictory situations, the wise persons do not budge an inch from the path of justice. So this should be your ethics. Okay, this should be your ethic standard, moral standard. Okay, the wise persons, the enlightened one, do not budge an inch from the path of justice. Okay, so this is taken from Niti Shatak. Remembering this doctrine, principle, it is not proper to indulge in unjustifiable forms of false belief under pressure of censor, praise, fear, or greed. Okay. Under pressure of censor, criticism, praise, appreciation, fear, or greed. Oh, the true omniscient God, true perceptor, and true religion are the supreme objects. Okay, true omniscient God, true preceptor, and true religion are the supreme objects. Sarvotkrusht padarth. Okay, the religion rests on them. Okay, the whole religion is resting on them. Okay, how could religion be evolved? By fickleness and indecision about them. Okay, so first of all, we should identify who is a true God, who is a true preceptor, and what is the true religion. After knowing only that, you are able to move ahead in the path of liberation. But if you have not taken a decision, if you have not analyzed, then how could the religion be evolved? Okay, by fickleness and indecision about them. What more to speak? It is extremely necessary to forsake in every way the company of false God, false preceptor, and false religion. Okay. देव शास्त्र गुरु अहो, देव शास्त्र गुरु सर्वोत्कृष्ट है, इनमें शिथिलता लाने से अन्य धर्म किस प्रकार होगा. So there could not be any compromise in true God, true preceptor, and true religion. Okay, make it very clear. We cannot compromise on that. Come what may, we cannot compromise on this, because this is the basis of our true religion. Our religion rests on them. And if your belief is wrong about Dev Shastra Guru, then other things it's not worth discussing even now. Okay. By not abdicating the false deity, etc., the false belief is greatly strengthened. Okay. And in the present times, the tendency of adoring them is found specially more here. Even in Todarmalji's times, 300 years ago, okay, adoring of them is found specifically more here. So how many are Jains in India or in the universe? So if you consider in India, it is 0.40%, less than half percent. And out of that 0.40%, how many are Digambar Jain? Again, the figures drastically gets reduced. So 0.40 out of 0.40, only 0.04 would be Jains. No, Digambar Jains. Okay. And again, among the Digambar Jains, those who have access to true God, true scriptures, and true religion would be further reduced. And among them, again, there will be how many people who are interested in religious study? Because by and large, people are interested only in observing religious vows and activities. Okay, they are not interested in studying all these scriptures. So again, it is very rare. And out of this person who are into study of religious texts, how many are very serious and they understand it properly and they are able to manifest right belief? All this becomes rare and rare. In one of the scriptures, it is written that in this time, even the right believer are very few. You can count them with fingers. Okay. So that means this is very rare. And why? Because there are so many places where you get struck up. There is only one way to go into the right path, and all other path leads you to the wrong direction. So it is the responsibility of ours, individual, who want to practice true religion, to understand properly and take decisions about them. Little bit of effort here will save you from long period of agonies. Okay. And if you are not taking time out to study the scriptures, then you are the most unluckiest person. Okay. Todarmalji had said in the first chapter itself, in Hindi it was, उनके अभाग्य की महिमा हमसे नहीं की जाती. I will read the English one also. 1 minute. Last paragraph of chapter first. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Further, as if a chintamani, a miraculous and precious diamond, page number 26, 27. Okay. Diamond is offered to an extremely pauper, means beggar, for looking at it, but he refuses to even look at it. And as if a cup of nectar is offered to a leper for drinking, but he refuses to drink it. Similarly, if a mundane, miserable jiva gets an opportunity to listen to an easy discourse on path of liberation, but he refuses to pay attention to it, then it is not possible for us to describe the glory of his misfortune. Okay. When we ponder over his future, a compassionate feeling arises in us. So this is on page number 27. Now again come back to our last paragraph. Okay. Therefore, their abdication is forcefully described here. Knowing all this, one should adopt the path of liberation by forsaking false belief. Thus ends the 6th chapter. Okay, of the treatise Moksha Marg Prakashak, in which the description of false deity, false preceptor, false religion is done for abdicating them. So unless and until you know the actual nature of a false god, false preceptor and false religion, how you can renounce them. Okay, so this is very important. The whole highlight after discussing false god, false preceptor and false religion, I feel the 2-3 lines that we discussed in the first day itself are very, very important, because indulging in such false false god and uh, false god and false scripture, no, false god and false preceptor and false religion, two losses are there. First loss is that you go far away from the right belief. Okay. So our endeavor was to manifest the right belief. But because we got indulged in false god, false preceptor and false religion, we went very far away from manifesting right belief. Okay. And the second loss, what was the second loss? The second loss was that you bind inauspicious karma. It was here on
Second page, sir. Second page. Second page.
No. It is in page number 246. I have got it in the middle. Here someone may say, let it not be useful, but by believing and adoring them. Believing and adoring them here means false false god. Okay. No harm is caused. He's asking the question. Answer. This Todarmalji's answer. If there be no harm, then why would we forbid? Why would we discuss so much that don't indulge in false god, don't indulge in false preceptor and don't indulge in false religion? Why would we forbid? But firstly, Due to fostering of false belief, the right path of liberation becomes remote and inaccessible. This is a big harm. And secondly, owing to the bondage of inauspicious karmas, miseries are caused in future. This is another harm. So indulging in those kind of things is total loss for a devotee, for a seeker, okay, in the path of liberation. So this we can easily get rid of by understanding the true gods, true preceptor and true monks, true religion, okay, the false belief automatically goes away. So this would be the first step and foremost step. So we should not get indulged in any of the miracles and all, because we know very firmly that one substance cannot do anything for the other substance. Okay. And in all this false god, false preceptor and false religion, you will find that it is overlapping that principle. Okay. That one substance cannot do anything for the other. So they say that you do this and your Rahu will go away. You do that, your this will go away. You donate so much, you will go away. All these are false, and people by and large are very fearful. They don't want to lose their wealth and all. So in that, because of that only, they, even though they know this is not the true gods, but still they believe in them, and that's how they go far away from the right belief. First loss. And the second loss is they bind uh, uh, inauspicious karma. Okay. Yeah, they bind inauspicious karma, and as a result of which miseries are caused in future when it comes into fruition. Okay. So this is the loss. So much discussion for this Todarmal ji has done. Okay. So these are the discussions about those people uh, who believe in this false gods, false preceptor and false religion. So best is to avoid this, never compromise on true God, true preceptor and true religion. Okay. If you are not having, if you don't have any contact to them, it's okay. But believing a false God to be a true God is not going to help us in any way. So better, sooner we get out of it, the better. Okay. Swamiji's struggle we already discussed, I think last week and yesterday also. Okay. So we are not subject to that much struggle. Okay. By our good luck, we have got access to everything what we want, and there is nobody forcing us to believe in those false gods, you know. So we are quite independent to take our own decision, and if we make correct decisions at the correct time, then we will soon get liberated. Okay. Otherwise, you have seen the fruits of believing in this is Nigod and Narak. And there are long period of age, you know. So there could not be any compromise on this. Okay. So now the 7th chapter we are not going to study. We'll move on to the 8th chapter, because 7th chapter we will be studying in, I think, 9th or 8th sem. Yeah. So now we are into 5th sem, and our next chapter would be chapter number 8 about 4 exposition. We have already studied about 4 exposition in Vitrag Vigyan 2 and also in Tattvagyan part 2. Okay. So at these 2 places we had studied, and we have also done practicals that how applying 4 exposition in a particular event, how your decision could be correct. Okay. Because we have tendency to think from only one angle. But if you think from all the 4 angles of exposition, you arrive at a correct decision. And if you decide correctly, you are in the path of liberation. Okay. So this is very important chapter. and we are going to study very elaborately the whole chapter. So next week we will start that chapter. In meantime, you finish your objectives. How many of you have given paper 3 objective?
So Krambat Parya is left.
So that is, I think, paper 2, no? Right?
I don't
It
know.
is paper 2. Paper 3 is Anekant, Syadvad and all. So if given
That
that,
is written, yeah, that I've given.
okay.
Uh-huh.
So yours paper 2 is left and the
Yeah.
12th is the last date. So just give exam for enjoyment. Don't feel tense. Okay. Whatever the marks doesn't matter, because what matter is how you are able to apply these principles in your life. Like somebody tomorrow come and say that your home is such and such, you have to do vastu, otherwise some bad omen will come and you will suffer these and that, and then you become fearful. So you know that no, nothing going to happen. One substance cannot do anything wrong or bad to another substance. So how can a false god come and uh, do harm to me? There is no entity in this universe who can harm me. I am a pure soul. Okay. So this type of conviction is required. And for this you need to understand this very nicely. Of course, we have covered word to word the whole chapter, but still there are some, if you are able to read it again and in a practical way, and then you don't submit to any of those kind of distractions, okay, then it will be beneficial to you.
So I wanted to ask you one thing. So
Hmm.
those who are born in those religion, like
Hmm.
Vaishnavas,
Hmm.
so they also will get into Nigod and all this because it is their paryay. It is their karma that they are
So
born in that.
the main cause is delusion, okay, false belief.
But in that, Bhagavad Gita also, says all these things.
Yeah, so like Bhagavad Gita is not the true religion, no? If it is followed by many people, that does not make it a true religion.
No, no, not a true religion, but what ethics or what principles it is teaching is quite similar. It is almost the same things.
It may appear similar, but you will see there will be infringement every now and then of first principle of Jainism, that one substance cannot do anything for the other substance. Only this principle you keep in mind, and then you start reading Gita, you will find every now and then this principle is being violated. So how can it be true? Todarmalji has explained what are the faults in their scriptures in the 5th chapter. In this Moksha Marg Prakasak, 5th chapter is not a part of our syllabus because it is dealing with non-Jain people, okay? And by and large, whoever enters this 5 years course, committing 5 years course is not an easy thing. Only interested people only can get into it, and out of that, very few are able to complete it. Okay. So we have not kept it in the syllabus, but for your own interest, you read it, you will get all the answers from the 5th chapter, because Todarmalji read all those scriptures very minutely and then found the loopholes, and it is mentioned in the 5th chapter itself about all these things. And because of that, the king got instigated through the other religious people, and Todarmalji was killed because of that only. So he sacrificed his life just to write the truth. Okay. Now we have got everything ready. We have to just analyze and accept. Analyze and accept, not blindly accept. We don't say you accept blindly. You ask question. If you have anything in mind, you ask question and get satisfied. But once you are satisfied, then you need to believe in it. Right? So our task is very easy, but people by and large doesn't have access to this true God, true preceptor and true religion. Okay. And that is the bad luck, of all people, what we can do. It is very rare to get this human life, and in human life, it is very rare to get Jain life. And even if you become a Jain, then again a Digambar Jain. You know, Srimad Ji wrote in one of his letters, Updesh Nond. Updesh Nond, Patrang number 15. He has written the names of 20 books, and he has written Sat Sastra, true books. And Srimad Ji read all these books. And out of 20, 19 are Digambar books. Mokshmar Prakasak is also there. Samay Sar is also there. Pravachan Sar is also there. Panchastika is also there. So out of 20, if 19 books, Srimad Ji's own words, I will share that letter, okay? It's there in that Srimad Ji's book. You know, there are 1,000, more than 1,000 patrangs in that book. So in that Updesh Nond, letter number 15, it is written Sat Sastra and it mentioned all the names of the book. Only one is Svetambar. 19 are Digambar. So now, see, we can only give testimonies and proof, right? Now it is upon us to explore and come at the right decision. And it is us who is going to get benefited. I was born in a Stanakwasi Jain family, but I was never into religion. But when I read this Samay Sar, Kanji Swami's lecture on Samay Sar, Pravachan Ratnakar from part 1 to 11, I realized that this is the true religion. Because everything gets justified. You are able to prove it. 7 fundamentals gives you so much of things to prove, you know. You cannot prove that Meru Parvat is of such height and such weight and all, right? That is beyond our knowledge. But the 7 fundamentals and all other purposeful elements, you can easily understand and you can apply it in your day-to-day life and be happy. So again, it is our responsibility to adhere to true God, true preceptor, and true religion, because that is the first step. Okay, there cannot be any compromise on that. Okay, so and why we should not adapt? You give me a logic. If something is very true, you test it. Okay, you examine it, you get satisfied, and then accept it. Right? So everything is there in the scriptures. Now you are into the 5th sem. By the time you reach the end of 5th sem, you will be well versed in all kinds of logics and arguments and debates and perspectives. Everything very, very clear. The basic fundamentals have already been taught. Now we are into studies of scriptures. And Moksha Marg Prakasak, I think, is one of the best book for us, because it does not teach only about Moksha Marg. It teaches us how to read the scriptures and how to analyze and how to come at a conclusion. Okay. So he teaches us the whole process of reading books. So there is, as such, there is no problem. Okay. So majority will say that Gita is true, Buddha is true. They have, they, every person has their own belief. Okay. Now what we need to do is our own decision. Okay. 100 people may say false as a true. So that does not become a true. Right. So be experimental. You do as many experiments you want to do any examinations that you want to do, but then arrive at a conclusion. That is important. And it is easy. All the logics are given. And still, if you have anywhere doubts, you can call me personally. We can discuss. I can give you references from book, what it is written here and what is written here. And then it is up to you to decide. I had 2-3 students in 2016 batches. One was in USA, and they studied for 5 years, and they still could not leave the false god, false preceptor, and false religion. So it can happen that way also. So we don't push anybody. It is your own decision, because This is something that you have to decide by your own. Okay, you cannot rely on somebody else's decision. So we never insist on such things, but if you ask it, we will give you the truthful answer. There is no compromise on that. ये भी चलेगा और वो भी चलेगा. It's not like that. ये नहीं चलेगा और ये ही चलेगा. So that's why Swami Ji left that sampradaya, because he knew it, that if I remain here after knowing the truth, then I will be binding the two harm that we discussed just now also. First one is I will get far away from Samyak Darshan, and the second is I will bind inauspicious karma, and fruition of that auspicious karma will bring miseries in my life. So he took that bold decision, and because of that only, we are also fortunate to have the scriptures in our hands. Okay, so we meet next week. You try and read the 8th chapter if you have time, and before that you have to finish all the objectives, because uh, if your any other assignments are left, that I can manage, but objectives is something that the central committee is managing and it is not in our hand. So it is best you complete on time, and for any unforeseen circumstances, if you are not able to complete, then we can put a request and get the extension, but you have to inform prior to our team leaders Aditi ji and Darshit ji. Okay, chalo. Anyone else, any questions? Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है.